Welcome to Friday of the FDIC 2021 show. I'm here with Commander Jones from Nashville Fire and Chuck Burgess, the regional RSM for the Nashville location. Today we're going to be talking about why Commander Jones decided to go with Braun and the construction of his module that he's put together for us. Commander Jones, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, so the city of Nashville is very proud to be partners with Braun. This is our 7th year. This is our 5th generation of units that we've bought, and we currently have an order in for 21, which puts us at 56 total over the last 7 years. We're now at the point to where Brauns are now in our reserve fleet, so it's just a high quality piece. It's a great partnership, and we look forward to many years in the future of continuing that. So it's just glad to be here and glad to have Nashville's fire truck in our FDIC. Hopefully we get it again next year.
So Commander Jones, could you tell us a little bit about Director Swan?
Yeah, one of the interesting parts about the city of Nashville is that we're a service that has fire and EMS, but they are separate divisions. And so William Swan, the Director Chief of the Fire Department, was the first paramedic firefighter chief to be appointed. So to have a paramedic as your chief and also have that fireside and have that interesting aspect of understanding of what's going on with that is definitely a very positive thing for us. So really glad to see that that's happened, and he really supports the EMS in a way that needs to be done so we can continue on.
Thank you, Commander Jones. All right, so we're going to start the tour of the Braun Nashville unit. So we're going to go into the chassis front end first. Like in so many Brauns, we're known for our customization. If you notice right here, this is an all aluminum, solid constructed console specifically designed for the city of Nashville and how they have their needs laid out. Another unique thing about this truck, if you notice back here, you see the recess back here. So what that's for is you see the headset, but most importantly, that's where they put their ballistic vests and their gear if they have to get out in a dangerous situation where there's actually weapons being discharged. They also have lane departure and stopping capabilities as a warning system. Now, another unique feature about this unit, when we first went to concept with Commander Jones and his team, the height of these steps were extremely crucial to the department. If you notice how high up these steps sit, that's to help prevent those from dragging and hitting any obstacles while they're going down the road.
So we did that because initially we had designed the steps that are a little lower, and then through great testing by our personnel and showing us that they're too low, we raised those up on the last 7 units that we bought. So we were tearing them off, they were so low, but they were able to re-engineer the whole system and pull it up to where we don't have those issues anymore. So one of the things about Braun is if you go into Braun and you have an idea of what you want, they can customize any aspect of it that you want to do. We're very fortunate to have been there many times and look at everybody's trucks from all over the North America that they're building, and we take every aspect of what they've done that would fit ours and we incorporate that into what we have. So the one thing that Braun does do is allow you that customability, but at the same time to see other people and how they have great ideas, from the smallest departments to the largest. Everybody's got something that can contribute to what you have, and that's contributed to the design of this truck.
So if you notice here, we also have the roll-up doors for the city of Nashville for equipment storage. We have the LED strip lights in there to increase your lighting. It's also vented, and they also have the decon light up inside the top. So now we're going to continue on, and we're going to start talking about the exterior compartmentry and how it was laid out and why it was laid out the way it was. So Commander Jones, a lot of people since this show's been going on have been wanting to know, wow, what do they put through that transverse section? Do they use a lot of backboards? What goes on here? And the Ez02 lift, why did you go with that?
So the transverse compartment is something that we've used in the city for a long time. Yeah, the backboards go in there, the scoop stretcher goes in there, but what it allows us to do is to have that safety aspect. So whatever side is the safest for them to be able to pull this equipment out, they can go to either side to make that happen. As you know, on the interstate or any road surface where you've got an accident that's occurred where you're going to use those backboards, you don't have a choice a lot of times of which side you're going to park the unit on. So that allows us to have that safety aspect of personnel not being in the line of traffic to make that happen. The Ez02 lift we went with because it was a less expensive way in which to place our O2 tanks, the large O2 tanks in the system itself. And this was something that Braun actually engineered and created. And our original units had 2 doors, and the system itself was too heavy for the smaller doors that we had. And they were able to go to a single door and re-engineer that to make that fit. So it's less moving parts, and so therefore we have less failures. In fact, the only failure we ever had was originally we tore off one of the handles at the top by trying to pull it too hard and not putting the right pressure on there. So it's almost fail-proof, and it's less expensive. So it's a great system. We've gone with that on all of our units since the first 10.
Awesome, thank you. So now we're going to switch over to Chuck Burgess and Commander Jones. Let's continue to talk about the exterior compartments.
So as you can see, our electrical system, they have it on the outside of the truck on this unit. Normally, as our standard, we have it inside, but they like it on the outside for ease of maintenance.
Presented by the Nashville Fire Department.
The compartment below, Commander Jones, what equipment do you keep in there?
Also, one of the things about the electrical compartment, because we may have end users that believe they may be able to resolve an issue on their own, and we compliment them for trying, but the other side of that is it really sometimes makes it even worse. So this compartment itself is lockable with a separate key that our maintenance personnel have so that we can avoid any unintentional misuse. On the lower compartment here, we've moved our batteries from underneath the step to in here so that we could raise that step up. But also what we found is that makes it so much easier for the maintenance people if they have to change the batteries or if we want to add or subtract something from that. This is where we keep, this is the trash compartment from the interior part. It's also where the hazardous trash also goes. And so it has a vital vial light, code 3 in there as well. And what that does is it offers a decontamination of this area where, you know, the dirtiest of things are at. So that's worked real well for us as well. That's a new aspect of vital vial light.
Thank you. We'll go to the rear gear compartment.
So with this, we're always looking for input from our operations group. So one of the EMTs and the paramedics that we're working all the time, we have the chair stairs like most departments have. Well, the chair stair is pretty encumbering and takes a lot of space, and it's hard to get in and out. So they suggested we put it on the door. We saw this on another unit that Braun was producing for a department, and we went with that. So we've changed that over so that the chair stair itself sits here without any issues of coming apart, and it also gives us some extra space in there for storage of equipment should we need it.
We'll walk to the rear of the truck. Turn the lights on.
And that was EMT Christy Baker that designed that for those people in Nashville, if you want to know.
I'm going to let you take the mic on why you designed the interior the way you did.
Sure. So I'm an old-time ambulance guy, so I started back in the mid to late 70s. And the first thing I worked out of was a 66 Cadillac combination. So if you don't know what that is, you'll have to look it up. But essentially what was happening at the time was the stretcher goes in, the attendant sits there. Over the years, not a lot has changed as far as the original concept, but what we have found is that we're trying to develop a design that will allow our paramedics to be able to sit secured and operate in any aspect or any area that there is. And doing that, we've done a couple of things. We've taken the CPR seat, which was originally on the front side, and we flipped it to the rear because our paramedics have told us most of the time they're centered on the torso. We've widened that aspect out as well so that there's more room for them to move side to side. The next thing that we did was to center the paramedic seat. So traditionally the paramedic seat would sit onto the sidewall, and the stretcher itself would mount to the side. Well, with the new Striker systems and all the systems that are there now, they're center mounting all the stretchers. And so in that, this is where the head of the patient is, this is where the paramedic should be. So that's a new entity that we have. And we also widened the back of the bulkhead there to make it more room for that stretcher, for that seat to spin around. So the design is intended for the paramedic to be safely secured and continue to operate on the patient even in the worst condition. We've added storage here and storage here so that when the paramedic is secured, they can still access needed equipment or supplies to be able to treat their patient. So that's a new thing. As we move forward in EMS, the big thing that we're going to have to look at is the safety and the technology that we do. And the safety aspect is going to be how do we make the paramedic safe while going down the road. So I think that's a challenge for everybody at this point in time. We also went with the Vmux system, and the Vmux system has vista screens that allow you to control every aspect of the rear of the ambulance, right? So your air conditioning system, your oxygen system, your suction, your lighting is all in there. And we have 2 vista screens, one at the rear and one at the front. So depending on where the paramedic is sitting and how they're treating their patient, they have access to that at either position. We also have our patient care component with the computers as far as the run reports go. So that sits here on the top of the bulkhead so that it's out of the way but also easily accessible from any position that you may be in. The design itself is an evolution from the first ambulances that we had that were the modular type. And what we pride ourselves on is the tremendous amount of storage that we've been able to incorporate in this. And we get a lot of compliments on that from other departments about how did you get all that storage. Working with Braun and working with their engineers and maximizing the space that we have, that's what we're able to do. The other thing we've added is the refrigeration heating unit. So current patient care standards will say trauma patients should receive warm IV fluids, and practical aspects from a hospital standpoint, best practices are for cooling of some of your medications. So one side is for heating, one side is for cooling, but you can do either. They can be all cooling, all heating. So we've done that. We've also, early on, we added the clock at the rear. So the digital clock allows the paramedic to actually, you get lost in this thing sometimes when you're really working hard. And so in this, it allows us to see what the timing is on whatever we're doing. It's got date, time, and it also has a stopwatch feature. So that's a really great thing. Incorporated like everybody else is doing now. We've incorporated our gloves into a compartment so that they're not just sitting all around everywhere, which we like to do. And then we've also gone to Knox vaults in our compartments for our controlled drugs, and they're mounted within a secure area and with a roll down door. We go with Pro Air system, and one of the things that we did on this last generation of Brauns, used to have little plastic vents like all your air conditioner systems have. So we worked with them and they created this laser cut face so we don't have those falling out, and plus it's a lot cleaner environment for that as well. We have trash and our red bag waste on both sides, so if you're operating from that side, and we also have it here along with a separate just simple waste area. Use Zoll monitors, and they mount on the Furno brackets, which is really simple to get in and out. It swivels, can move wherever you want it to be. And we've gone away from countertops and went with the rolled aluminum with the coating on it so that we don't have those issues anymore, and it's a lot easier to clean as well. Compartment wise, we've just tried to advance and make as many compartments and make it the same areas available on all of our units. So in 56 units that we've got 21 on order, 56 total that we'll have done in 7 years. The 5 that we just received about a month ago, 2 that we'll receive this unit and another one, and the 21 on order will all be exactly the same. So for the first one, we needed to evolve it to fit whatever the needs were at the time. Standards are always changing, and personnel are always asking for increases in that. So we try to work with them to make that happen. This unit, if you look at our first units, you'll say, oh, they're the same. But when you actually sit them side by side, you'll see that there's a tremendous change in the way in which it's been designed. So we like to pride ourselves on the fact that we have a city that allows us the autonomy with which to make these changes and supports us with the funding to do that. We have a director chief and a staff that allows us to make these changes with great autonomy, and in doing that we continue to evolve the piece to make it that next level, so that we're not buying a 2022 ambulance that's got a 2016 design. So that's a great thing, and that's one of the things that Braun is so good about doing is they work with you on their engineering staff to produce the changes that you want, and they show you that in a way that you know, well, it'll work or it won't work. And they'll also tell you it won't work, or they'll tell you, man, that's great, we should have been doing that on other units. So it's a great relationship in that part. So I've been on the ambulance since 1976. I'm telling you, finest piece you can buy. If I owned an ambulance service, this is the one I would be buying. And I don't want to get back on the units, but if I did, I'd be clamoring to get one of these new ones for me. I just think they're a great piece. So we're very proud of them. To me, it's just a great accomplishment that we've been able to do, and having to work with these people who have been so good at helping us see what we can do and then taking us to that point.
Thank you again, Commander Jones. We appreciate you allowing us to spotlight the truck in the city of Nashville, and everything you've done for us and helping us in your design too. It's been a pleasure working with you, and look forward to many years to come.
I'll say this: we were at EMS Expo several years ago, and we had one of the first units that we'd ever purchased. Cleaned it up really, really nice, made it look like it was brand new as far as the cleanliness can go. And then we had one of our brand new units, and they sat side by side. And the comment that we got from everybody that came by was, oh, you can get this in 2 models. They didn't realize that this one was 4 years old and had 180,000 miles on it, and this one was brand new and had 100 miles on it. So that says a lot about the product itself and about the durability, but also about the city of Nashville and the personnel that we have that try to maintain these things as well as possible. So that's a really, really great compliment when people see that, and then for Braun, when they say, oh, 2 models and one of them has just been beat hard. So it's a great deal. Great deal. Thank you for being our partner.
Absolutely. Thank you. And if you require any additional information on the Braun Super Chief, please contact us at braunambulances.com, and we look forward to hearing from you. Take care.